Now, a Christian teacher who was asked to give his views on marriage at a training course was subsequently sacked for so-called hate speech. Ben Dybowski was a teacher at the Bishop Llandaff Church in Wales school and was prompted to share his views during a diversity and inclusion seminar. However, despite being told it was a safe space and that he should feel free to speak freely, he was told the next morning that he was being dismissed. Well, Ben Dybowski joins me to discuss this now. Ben, you were part of a DIE training. I mean, they shouldn't be in schools in the first place. But while you were in this training session, you were asked the question of what your views were on marriage.
I mean, generally the seminar, this talk was about diversity and inclusion.
Right.
So there were lots of issues that were discussed during that meeting, and there was a quick question and answer session at the end. And there were a few things that prompted me to ask that question, and I just, it was a genuine question, but I illustrated it with my views, which was the beginning of my end at the school.
What was your view?
My question was, how does the speaker define discrimination?
Okay.
Because it seemed to me that a mere expressing of one's views could be interpreted as discrimination according to what she was saying.
Right.
So I asked, that was the question. I said, for example, would some of my views could be regarded as discrimination? I mentioned three things. That I believe a true marriage is between a man and a woman.
Yes, that's what marriage is.
Yes. By the way, as you said, it's an Anglican school, Christian school,
right.
Nominally at least. So it shouldn't be surprising an opinion like that to be expressed there. The second thing was that human life begins at conception and should be protected from that moment, in my opinion, because I was talking about my beliefs.
Yes.
And the third one was, it was a no-brainer actually, not even necessary to do with Christianity, that I am critical of some aspects of Islam.
Okay, so all three of those views are Christian views and have always been
pretty mainstream, yeah. They are even generally mainstream, you could say, among Brits. So anyway, I got an interesting answer that holding those views is perfectly fine, but expressing them might be a problem, might be discrimination. So basically I was told to go underground, you can hold them, but just, which was, by the way, repeated by the headmaster the next day when he was kicking me out of the school.
And I understand that he actually shared some of your views.
In our conversation the next day, because that was the last item during that training day afternoon, so second period the next day, so kind of nearly immediately afterwards, he called me to his office and he said, Ben, what you said yesterday offended some people. Some people apparently emailed him and said they are afraid to start a conversation with me.
Wow.
And we are talking about teachers, not pupils, Yeah. And apparently he admitted he discussed with his deputy sacking me there and then, right after that meeting, or at least getting rid of me, deciding to get rid of me. Then they must have remembered it was a safe space.
What does that mean?
So when he realized, he must have thought either I offended his views as well, or his idea about what a teacher or teacher assistant, I worked there as a teacher assistant, can't believe in, or he was afraid of the woke brigade. I think it was both. I think he knew.
Well, I'll come back to you, but I want to bring my dualist in on this, because, Nigel, it seems to me that people misunderstand what the word discrimination means. I've just looked up the dictionary definition. It's unjust or prejudicial treatment of different categories of people, right? It's not holding differences of opinion. It's not disagreeing. It's acting on that disagreement, right? That's what discrimination is. And both in Ben's case and in Reverend Richard's case, it seems to be that there's a confusion there about what that means.
Yeah, the only question really here is that what your headmaster said, Mark Belly, was that you actually dismissed for refusing to comply with the law and school policies. The suggestion there, which is the question I would like to ask you, is would you teach children that marriage can only be between a man and a woman?
First of all, it wasn't my job. I'll just add one more detail. When he told me, Ben, you offended some people, I don't want you to express those views at the school, I said, fine. That's not my job. Not a teacher here. I was a teacher assistant. It wasn't part of my brief. I hadn't been doing this. I may have mentioned my views were relevant during lessons. So I said, fine. I said, it's a bit surprising that in a Christian school I'm banned from mentioning basic Christian views, but it's fine. But I added, they are still my views, and I'm likely to use them, express them in my private life. For example, I'm involved in a couple of pro-life campaigns. And this is where the problem started. So formally, he didn't sack me for what I said during that meeting in a safe space, although he was tempted, he admitted, but for my refusal not to commit a potential crime, in the future, a crime, against the political correctness.
So it's not just hate crime; it's future crime that we're punishing
there was no
people for
facts.
now. Connor, should it be the case that schools say, look, here is one set of views, LGBTQ plus ideology, whatever. Here's another set of views, Christian values. Make your minds up. Or should it be a case that both of those views should be removed from schools, and/or a school should subscribe to one set and make it clear?
I think the school should only subscribe to one set, absolutely, particularly because the other doctrine, LGBTQ plus LMNOP, the ever-expanding acronym, is fundamentally untrue because men cannot become women by thought and vice versa. Yeah. I wanted to pick up on one very specific point, because you're a very well-meaning man. And I think that the reason you're expressing confusion as to why you would say, well, how could this be discrimination if I'm just saying it out loud, if it's a privately held view? These people are the Inquisition for a new utopia where no one is offended. And so that means that by you even verbalising judgment about something, drawing a boundary or distinction, you are discriminating because in their heads it's limiting their freedom. They're suddenly becoming aware of an alternate mode of living, means that you're oppressing them, you're stopping them from being their true selves. And so they feel totally vindicated to remove you from any institution or polite society just because they're offended, because you're stopping them being who they really are inside.
Sure, but there's so much irony and absurdity in all this. Let me share with you one insight that I had when I was being escorted out of the school by the headmaster. It struck me this is the most Orwellian situation I've ever been in my life. And I remember the last 10 years of communism in Poland, with censorship, where you had to do similar things. You had to pretend, formally that you agree with something, and then privately you would laugh it off. So it struck me, once I remember in Poland, when I was in high school, I organized an event and I smuggled a few comments about the Soviet Union, denouncing the Soviet Union, and I nearly was kicked out of the school, nearly.
Right.
And I thought when I was waiting outside the building for my stuff to be fetched, here we are in an allegedly free country, in a nominally Christian school, after a meeting about diversity and inclusion, during which I expressed 3 basic mainstream views, basically not even Christian, and I'm being kicked out of the school.
But the head teacher says it's a safeguarding issue for the children.
Yes, exactly. And plus they said that because I hold Christian views, I'm not safe to work with kids. I was standing there and I thought I was upset. I was really upset, but I also thought, this is a classic, this is a classic.
Well, a Christian
Orwell,
school in Britain
I couldn't have made it up.
Communist Poland.
Yeah.
Nigel, it seems that disagreement is classed as hate and words are classed as violence. Is this the problem? Have we lost first principles? Have we lost the idea of...
I'm sorry, just based on the story that we've just heard, I still don't quite get your dismissal, because in the event that it was purely over the views you expressed earlier privately away from the children, then you certainly have a case for an unfair dismissal.
Absolutely.
If on the other hand, you were intending to teach children that marriage is just between a man and a woman, then I understand the dismissal.
Sure, but still you should...
Let's bring that down, because even if that was the case, in a Christian school, you can teach Christian doctrine, and that is that marriage is between one man and one woman.
Yes, but not as fact, because...
It is as fact.
No, but it's not a fact. It is Christian doctrine.
No, you can teach that there are alternative views and different people have different opinions.
No, the legal position in this country is that marriage is not just between a man and a woman.
In a Christian church it is.
Can I add a fun fact?
It's a Christian school, Nigel. It is a Christian church.
It doesn't matter. You have children from other faiths there, or none.
As I said, you can teach other people who have other views.
You may have children there with...
Okay, we're talking over each other now.
Okay, a fun fact. This is the name of the school is the Bishop of Llandaff. By the way, I love the kids. I got on well with most pupils. I thought the staff were amazing teachers. It's just this wokeism that was really ruining so much. And even pupils kind of send signals sometimes to teachers or teacher assistants, or some of them said openly, sir, we've had enough of this. This is a joke about some issues. But anyway, the Bishop of Llandaff, it's a bishop, at the moment a woman. There's a website. She's got a website, or the diocese has a website.
Don't promote her website.
Okay, no, but I went there, and they do the same. They say the same as I said. Marriage is a gift from God between a man and a woman. So this is the schools, and that's the moral supervision for the school. It's an Anglican school. If you don't like it, go to another school.
Ben, we've not got much time, so give people a choice to...
Yes, please. Which camera, please? This one. Okay. Please go to Ben Dybowski, just as you could see on the strap or strip. below dybowski, dybowski.com. I'm launching a fundraising to pay for the legal fees for the legal case with the lawyer that offered support, Paul Diamond. We are going to go big way after the school and after this wokeism that surrounds the school in some institutions. Also, we are planning a big campaign to stop discrimination against Christians in this country. I think it's ridiculous. It's gotten to a stage where it's a joke. I can't take any more of this.
Thank you.